Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and we have reached the end of yet another season. I'm going to be going over everything that happened in the season and giving my opinion on it. Now, I might have missed out something, and if I do, I apologise. So you can comment it down below if you would like to. So yeah, let's get into it. So this season they added a huge jungle biome onto the map, which was really cool, and it contained 3 different POIs. So we're going to be talking about all of them. First we had Rumble Ruins, which had a bunch of temples with loot in them, and to the side there was like a huge one, and they were all like broken and in ruins, hence the name Rumble Ruins. And it was a pretty cool POI. It had a boss, which we'll talk about later, and it also had an NPC, which was really good because it scans the area every few seconds, and it was really helpful. So if you had gold bars on you, then you could buy that NPC. But the POI overall, it was pretty good. I really liked it. And next up we had Creaky Compound, which was like kind of more in the middle of the map and the jungle biome. It had a bunch of labs there, and it was an alright POI. It had a bunch of loot and slurp trucks as well to get you healed up. But it wasn't anything too crazy. But I would land there, so it was a good POI. Shady Stilts was like houses, wooden houses. I don't even know too much of Shady Stilts because I never landed there. And I probably have to land there a few times before the season ends, and just in case it goes, because I barely land there and I don't know like what's there really, so I can't really judge it too much. But since I didn't really land there, I'm guessing I didn't really like it. But yeah, that was all the map changes we got for this season. The jungle overall is quite cool, and I hope it stays around for like another season or 2. Now we're moving on to the gameplay. So first up, we've got the jungle mechanics. Yeah, the jungle brought a bunch of new mechanics, like, for example, we got the different plants. The slurp plants would heal you for 25 HP or shield when you break them, and it was actually very useful if you don't have any heals. You just walk by and you're not full health, you can just break them and then gives you health. It's very useful. The stink one and the bomb one were like for attack. The stink one, well, they were both very hard to use because you'd have to like hit it on the player. But the bomb one does decent damage, I guess. The stink one, well, they could just run out the stink area, and the stink area doesn't do that much damage per second. So I didn't really use both of them, but if you did hit a shot with them and kill someone, then lucky you. They also added mud to the game, which was very cool. It gave you a little bit of extra mobility, and there were lots of thermal items in the game, and it actually hid you from the thermal vision, so that was pretty cool as well. And there was also augments to work with it, like Mud Warrior, which healed you when you were in mud, and Shrub Mud, which gave you mud in bushes, so like even if you weren't in the jungle, you could still get mud. There was also the Relic boss in Rumble Ruins, which gave you the Mythic MK Alpha, which is a new weapon for this season, a remake of the old MK7, and the Mythic one was quite good actually. And he also gave you Mythic Cloak Gauntlets, which we'll talk about later in the video, but that'll be towards the end. We also had wasps in the jungle. They were more annoying than anything, and there were also jars you could hold to spawn the wasp, but that wasn't really worth it to hold. They were just more annoying than anything else. And then there was the temples in the jungle, which you could go and solve puzzles and get loot. And I thought that was really cool. There was one in Rumble Ruins, and there's one in other places on the map. And yeah, very cool addition, I loved that. There was the summer event, which, it was worse than last year, I can't even lie. I mean, we got the ice runes back. We got one little place on the map changed with like graffiti. Everyone thought it was going to get like surfboards and stuff, but we never got any of that. The free rewards were quite cool though, I can't even lie. But that was the best part of the update. And yeah, it wasn't really that good. I'm sorry, Epic, if I'm being a bit harsh, but like, I just didn't enjoy it. Next up, we have the Futurama So Futurama happened in this season. We got an update where they added Leela, Bender, and Fry into the item shop, and they added Bender's metal shiny ray gun. It was only in the game for 2 weeks, so you didn't have that long to experience it. But it was basically just a remade version of the Chimera ray gun. I think it was a little bit better in my opinion. So yeah, that's a W. But yeah, that update was quite good because it brought the lever action back as well, which I love the lever action, so that was very good. Then, in the next update, we got another anime collab, which was very exciting. This one was Jujutsu Kaisen. We had new skins in the item shop. We had a free battle pass and a premium reward track to get one of the skins. And you had to do challenges to unlock it, which was really cool. And you got some free rewards, so you can't complain. Also, we got 2 new mythics for this collab. One was Hollow Purple, which is like a purple ball of energy, which you throw at people, and it does damage over time. I think it's pretty good. It reminds me of the Plasma Cannon, but I think it's a bit better than the Plasma Cannon. So yeah, and it's good for destroying builds as well. Then we got the Shroudal technique, which is a hammer and nails, and the nails you can like hit someone and then it explodes, or you could just hit it near them and it explodes and does damage. So it's another one of those weapons that like even if you don't hit them, if you hit beside them, you'll still do damage. So yeah, if you don't have good aim, then maybe this is good for you. But I do find it hard to hit people with the Shroudal sometimes. I don't know if that's just me or if my aim's bad, but yeah. Both of the mythics were really good though. Really like that. And the final thing I want to talk about for gameplay is the mobility. Now, last season we had all the mobility, bro. Even in Chapter 4 Season 1, we had the Shockwave Hammer. In Chapter 4 Season 2, had Spider-Man mythics, we had ODM gear, we had Kinetic Blades, we had it all, bro. Had all the mobility. And then now, well, I mean, at the start of the season we had nothing. But now, they've introduced some stuff. People were saying, oh, this is so bad, we have no mobility. And I mean, the mud gave you some mobility, and there were cars and stuff. But for me personally, I need something I can carry around with me all the time, just in case. I don't know if that was for everyone else, but that's just me personally. And I didn't find it too big of a deal. I feel like people were overreacting, but I don't know. I just feel like they were overreacting, because it wasn't that bad. But maybe people didn't like it, so I can understand that. But then they added shockwaves in 0 build, by the way. Why couldn't they just put it in builds? I don't know why. They're bullying us build players. But they did add grapple gloves in both modes later on in the season, which really helped with the mobility problem. And now it's not much of a thing, because we can grapple around and use shockwaves in 0 build. So it's really cool. Okay everybody, now we're going to talk about the weapons in this season. Now some of them got removed halfway throughout the season, but they were in the last season, so I probably talked about them in my end of season video last season. So yeah, I won't talk about them here. But if you want to know which ones got removed, the Red Eye got removed, and the Maven Auto got removed, and the Heavy Sniper got removed. Okay, now let's go into the weapons that are in this season, and let's talk about them. The Flapjack Rifle. Now this is like an LMG type weapon. It has a lot of ammo in the magazine, and it doesn't have that much accuracy, but it has a decent fire rate, and it does quite a lot of damage. I actually use this as my SMG sometimes to spray people down close range, because it's quite good for that. It's not the best option for that, obviously, because we have SMGs, but it's still a good gun. Even medium range, even though it doesn't have the best accuracy, you can still hit shots with it, and it's a really good weapon in my opinion, very strong. I love it. Havoc Suppressed Assault Rifle. This stayed from last season, and I don't really like it that much. It's a bit inaccurate and a bit slow, and there's just better ARs about. But it's not a very bad gun, it's just I don't really like it that much. Next up, we have the MK Alpha, which replaced the Red Eye. People don't like this because one, it removed the Red Eye, which was like a fan favorite, and two, it's not as good as the MK7 assault rifle, which is the original version. But I still think it's really good. I thought the MK7 was a bit overpowered, and so having this is a bit more balanced, and for that reason, I really like it. It's still really good, just has a slower fire rate, more damage, and longer reload time, I think. So, they changed a few other stats on it, but other than that, it's basically the same thing. And yeah, it's still a really good gun. I use it a lot. So, now we move on to the shotguns. First up, we had the drum shot. What? Why? Why did they bring this back? No one... they could have brought back the pump, which I'll talk about in a minute because they done something with that. Could have brought back the tac or any shotgun. They brought back the drum? No one wants the drum. I mean, they had a mythic version, which... I mean, the scope is crazy, and the damage is crazy. They did nerf the fire rate a little bit, so it's a bit more balanced. But yeah, I don't really want to see this gun stay around. Next up, we have the Havoc shotgun, which stayed from last season. Pretty solid shotgun. It's a very good shotgun. Pump type. And does a lot of damage. Can be inconsistent sometimes. But other than that, very good shotgun. I recommend it. Then, when they removed the Maven Auto, they brought back the lever action shotgun. Which, I love the lever action if you don't know already. Decently fast fire rate. Good damage for its fire rate. And yeah, I just love the gun. Very nice kind of mix between a pump and attack. If you understand what I mean, because it's kind of fast firing, but it does a little bit more damage. So yeah. Sharp Tooth shotgun. Now, they used the gold and purple pump model, the Spaz model, for this. And I don't know why they did that. Because now people are just calling it the pump. And because they made it the pump, it had a lot to live up to because the pump is a fan favourite, very good weapon. And it didn't really live up. They nerfed the headshot damage. Gold only done 160. I think they buffed it up to 165, but still. Like, bro, what are you doing? 165 to the head with a gold shotgun. And it's a pump shotgun. So it should do more damage. But it is a bit long range, so that is the trade-off, which a long range shotgun, we've had a few, but this one, it's actually very long range, it's quite good. So maybe if you're in zero build, this will help. But yeah, not the best shotgun in this meta, but it's not a bad shotgun by any means. But just, I think everyone preferred the pump to come back, but they didn't want to do that. Next up, we had the Breacher shotgun, which stayed from last season. The heavy exotic. The whole point of this gun was to break any wall. It can't even one-shot a brick wall now. It got nerfed. Epic, what are you doing? The whole point of the mythic was to one-shot the wall. And now it doesn't one-shot brick. It only one-shots wood. What are you doing, Epic? That's the whole point of the gun. That's what made it special. That's what made it an exotic. Now, I don't even know, bro. The Accelerant shotgun also stayed. I love this gun. Fast firing, Maven Auto, gets faster every time you shoot someone with it. Gives you pepper effect. It does really good damage as well. And then lastly, they added Augment in the last update towards the end of the season, and they added the Dragon's Breath with that augment, which I haven't actually got to use this because I can't find it, but Dragon's Breath, as far as I've seen it, it's not that good. You have to be really close range to get good damage, and it takes up 4 shotgun bullets, and the reload time is insane. It's just insane. You get one shot and you have to reload for like 50 minutes, 50 hours, 50 years. Bro, it's insane. But if you get that close-up shot, then good for you, because you've dealt lots of damage to your opponent. but definitely not the best shotgun in its meta. There's others to pick up that are better. Okay, so update, I actually got the augment and I tried out Dragon's Breath and it's actually decent. You still have to get up close, so I used soaring sprints and then got in their face and then used the Dragon's Breath and then sprayed them with an SMG, and that combo is actually really good. As long as you have something to follow up with, it's good. If you don't, you're kind of dead because of the reload. And it does spread fire all over the place, which can be good or bad, depending on if you burn yourself or not. But yeah, it's a really good gun if you have an SMG to go with it or something like that. Now, we have the submachine gun, stayed from last season. I love the submachine gun. It's a cool SMG, not that much recoil, good damage, good fire rate. It's just a good gun. They did remove the P90 from the purple and gold version last season. But yeah, aside from that, good gun. Next we have the combat SMG. I was hyped when this came back because I love this gun. Now I've realised it's not that good as it used to be, as I thought it would be, because although it's got good fire rate, good damage, the recoil is just a bit hard to control. But when you can control it, that gun is a beast. So yeah, glad it was there. And then the heisted run and gun SMG stayed from last season. Give you slap effect, which is very good. Infinite slap when you're running. It's also good to pair with soaring sprints because you can soaring sprints forever, which is really cool. The gun itself, it's not crazy, but it is a P90, so it is really good. So yeah, really good exotic. Then for pistols, we have the tactical pistol staying, and it's an overall good pistol. Fast fire rate, automatic, and good tracking. You can even use it from mid-range, do good damage, be very effective. Especially the mythic one. The mythic one's crazy. Next up we have Mammoth Pistol. Now the Mammoth Pistol, bro, is a fan favourite because when it came out, people were dinking people from so far. It only has one shot in the chamber, but it does so much damage, and if you're accurate with it, it's deadly. But they did nerf it at mid to long ranges, so now it's not as good, but it's still really good. So I hope they keep it, and it is worth picking up in your inventory. And then we have the Shadow Tracker, which they made automatic. So it's even better now. Because with the tactical pistols, I was used to it, pistols being automatic, but with the Shadow Tracker, you actually have to tap the pistol. Now they made it automatic, it's even better, and it marks players. So that's a good ability for the exotic. For snipers now, we used to have heavy sniper, We used to have the heavy sniper, but then they got faulted, and instead they brought the explosive repeater rifle, which I love. It's a gun that shoots explosive rounds, and even if you don't, it's like the straw doll technique where if you hit it to the side, the explosive damage can still do damage, but obviously if you hit them, it'll do more damage. But it is a really good gun. Alright, next up we've got the Dragon's Breath Sniper, which came with the Dragon's Breath shotgun in the augment, and yeah, it was a pretty good sniper. It's the bolt action, which is already a good sniper, and it shoots fire, so if there are builds made out of wood from far away, you can burn them down. There's 121 to the body and I think 300 to the head. I don't know, but it still does a lot of damage, and it's a really good sniper. I recommend it. And then for DMRs, we got the thermal DMR, which is really good because it has a decent fire rate, good damage, and the thermal is good for the jungle biome because there's lots of stuff in the way like leaves and bushes, so you can see through them to see if there's anyone there. Also, if you don't like the thermal, you can take it off because you can toggle it on and off, but I recommend keeping it on because it's a really good feature. Now we're done with the weapons and the guns. Let's talk about some other weapons that were in the season and items. First up we got the kinetic boomerang, which was the kinetic item of this season, and it didn't live up to the hype because, as you know, we had the shockwave hammer and kinetic blade, and those were really good melee weapons and mobility weapons, and they were just so insane. People loved them, and we were expecting a lot from the boomerang, but it just didn't deliver. It's still a good weapon to use, it does 70 damage, and it tracks players, but it just has no mobility. And since we didn't have any other mobility, people were quite disappointed with the boomerang. I think it's an alright thing to use, but there's definitely better things to use, so I can see why people don't like it that much. Cybertron Cannon. Now, Optimus Prime was a tier 100 for the Battle Pass this season, so we had a Transformers collab, and the Cybertron Cannon was like the kind of weapon for the Transformers collab, and it was quite good actually. It done 110, and it was a big cannon that you could charge up, and it had 2 shots, and then it will have to recharge, and it has a cooldown as well. But yeah, especially if you're shooting someone from high ground, you can really get them, and it does decent amount of damage to builds. So yeah, pretty good weapon. I think not many people have been using it towards the end of the season, but I still see people picking it up. And yeah, it's just a nice gun to use. Slap Splash is basically Chug Splashes, but it's slap juice. It gives you 15 health or shield, and then it'll give you the slap effect. There were also exotic ones, which you get out of holo chests or llamas, and it would give you 30 health and 1 minute of slap effect, which was really good. So yeah, good item. But I do miss the Chug Splashes because they did vault them at the start of the season to make way for these. And, well, yeah, they're not as good in my opinion. I just think the Chug Splashes were better. But they're still a really good item. I don't think they're bad. They're pretty good. And then we had the Cloak Gauntlets, which was like a gauntlet that made you almost invisible. You could still see like a purple outline. It's pretty faint though, so sometimes you won't be able to see people, and you can sneak up on people. You can't use any other items while you're using it, but it's good to like maybe get away from people or sneak up on people without them knowing, or rotate to zone, or move without people seeing you. There's also a mythic version that the Relic Guard dropped, which lasted for longer and had a shorter cooldown, so that was cool. And then the last thing here we have is the Bush Bomb, which they brought back. Now this was good because we had a new ornament called Shrub Mud, which gave you mud effect when you were in the bush, and mud was one of the only mobility items we had, so it was a pretty good ornament to have. And the Bush Bomb could help you with some cover, and also if you want some mud on the go, then you can have it. And you can combine it with the Mud Warrior as well to have a portable burst that you throw down, and then you get mud, and then the mud heals you, and you have the mobility of the mud. So it was actually a pretty good addition to have in the game. So yeah. So that's the list for Chapter 4 Season 3. Overall this season, it wasn't the best season, but it had some pretty good features and some pretty good updates. And people didn't like this season, so I'm glad it was kind of shorter a season, so people could like move on to the next season because they were getting kind of bored. And the hype for the next season so far, really good. Fortnite dropping teasers of the new POIs, of like the clips happening, and it's going to be a heist theme. It's seeming to be a heist theme, so can't wait for that. That's going to be hype. You already know I'm making a video on that, so stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in Chapter 4 Season 4, sorry. But yeah, this season, it was pretty alright. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video though. If you did enjoy, like, subscribe, turn on notifications to see what videos are coming next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.